Okay, so Maven is an open source build automation tool um, for mainly Java projects. So what is open source tools? Open source tools are like um, it's like free softwares which can be developed and modified based on the requirement by different organizations. Even if you take Unix is a open source tool, and the companies based on the requirement they modified, and now we have multiple versions of um, Unix. For example, we have RHEL, CentOS, and then we have Ubuntu, we have Debian. Similarly, Maven is also an open source tool. So it will, like many developers around the world will be contributing to this tool. Okay, so what it does, so Maven does the build processes and then dependency management and project documentation and reporting. So for example, we are having a application we have seen earlier, right? For example, if we see this example, we have source file, okay, and then we have multiple files inside this one. When if you want to execute this as an application inside any of the um, tools, it will not work. So we have to convert it into a package. For example, we have jar, like we have Java application, right? So Java application should be in .jar format, and then if you take some other applications, actually it should be in .zip or .jar dot some other tar version, whatever it is. It should be in that version for the application to run. Okay, so packaging that or building that is called as um, the build process. So it will be done by different build tools. Actually now we are seeing Maven it can be mainly used for Java. Similarly we have other tools like npm and then different tools for different technologies. Okay, so what it does, it standardizes the build process across teams. Okay, like all the teams can build in a similar fashion, and then it integrates in the CI/CD pipeline. So when we write the Jenkins end-to-end CI/CD pipeline, so initially the code will get checked out from Git. Once the code is checked out, actually we will be building the code which is checked out from the repo. So for building, we will be integrating Maven. So once we integrate Maven and if we build, then the package will be ready. So that package can be moved to any of the artifactory, or else it can be moved to different servers. Like in case if we are using some Tomcat server, we can deploy it there, so that like the project will be built automatically in the CI/CD, and then it manages the dependency. For example, we are using a Java application and it has dependency on some other tool. Okay, for example, we are using some other thing, and it has to be deployed first before using Maven. Then actually Maven will automatically install those dependencies, and it will install the software. And then we have few main components in Maven. Okay, one of them is pom.xml. So pom.xml is Maven's configuration file where project dependencies, plugins, goals are defined. So all these things will be defined in pom.xml. So in case if we are adding some new configuration or new tool, we can just modify this pom.xml, so that we will be able to achieve our output. Even for example, if we want to maintain different versions, we will be providing the different versions, and we will be doing that one. So each project has single pom.xml. Each project will have only one pom.xml file. Okay, and then this pom.xml project coordinates will have group id, artifact id, and a version. Okay, what are these? So this group id and artifactory id, for example, group id means group is nothing but your company. Okay, so whenever we see group id, for example, if we see this structure, this is the project. Okay, project is nothing but like the root. Okay, now we are working on a project, so we will be defining initially the project. Okay, and then model version, this is the model version which we commonly use now for Maven. Okay, we are using commonly for 4.0.0. And then we have something called group id. Group id is nothing but company name. Here they have given com.example. For example, if you are working for Microsoft, it will be like com.microsoft. Okay, You can give it as com.microsoft. And then artifact id is nothing but unique name for that project. Okay, so for example, here they have given my app. In case you want your application name to be, for example, facebook.com, then you can give Facebook. Okay, similarly version, for example, we will be using multiple versions, right? For example, now we are using version 1.0. Tomorrow you may use version 1.1. After that you may use version 1.2, whatever it is. So you will be defining the version here. So based on that, once we get the output, it will be defined with this version. Okay, and then we have something called dependencies. So for example, uh, if you want to run an application, it will have some dependencies. Okay, for example, uh, we have to, okay, which tools we have used. Okay, for example, we will be installing Jenkins or else some other tools. So for them, the dependency is Java. Without Java, those things it will not work. So what we have to do? We have to install the Java dependencies. I'm just telling for an example. So without Java, it is not working. Means then in first step is we have to install Java. Even Maven is a Java-based tool, right? So first dependency is you have to install Java. Without Java, this Maven application, like Maven itself, it will not work. Maven tool. Okay. So we have to install the dependencies for applications as well. For example, if you are creating an application, that application may be dependent on some other thing, so we have to install those dependencies. Those can be configured here. Okay, so I have given the example here. So what is dependency management? Maven downloads dependencies automatically from repositories. Okay, so it will automatically download all the dependencies. So when we define these dependencies, if you see here, dependencies, okay, it is plural. Okay, inside this dependency you can give this one dependency. So here if you see dependency, they have given dependency open and close, like html file. And here if you see, they have given group id we have seen here as well, right? So this group id is for your company. Okay, for your company. And this group id is for, here I have mentioned for JUnit. JUnit is a testing tool and it is their ID. Okay, so we have to mention that one. And then artifact ID, it is also their company ID. Okay, and then version is like which version of JUnit we are using, so that one. And then scope, what is the scope of this dependency? It is for testing. Okay, similarly, um, for example, if we say sonar cube. Okay, so how you can find it is very simple. Just type maven, and then if you want something like sonar cube, just type this one. Okay, so once this is done, you can directly click here. Okay, this is not official thing. Just go to maven, go to maven repositories. And for example, if you want something like sonar cube, just click here. And then here we will have different versions. Okay, just click on any of the version. And then if you see here, we have got the dependency. Okay, so you can copy this one. It is just copy paste, that's it. And then for example, we don't want this one, we want docker. Okay, just come here, docker java. And then just click on this one. And then if you see here, we have got the dependency. You don't need to do anything, just copy this one. And then you have to paste it. You have to just copy and paste, that's it. That's it, you have to do this one. And then we should have this dependencies we have mentioned here, right? So it should be here. We have to mention this one here. So just we have to put this entire thing. Just copy this one and then put everything at this place. That's it. Okay, so that you will know exactly. And then we have repositories in this as well. So we have something called a local repository. So that local repository, it will be under home, under .m2 repository. Okay, And then central repository is nothing but this managed centrally. And in case if Maven is not able to find something locally, if it is not able to find something locally, then it will go here. Okay. Initially, it will check in the local machine in our laptop, like whether that dependency or that required components are there in the repository. If it is not found here, it will directly go to the central repository, and then it will test. So this is the repository. So if you see here, so this is the repository. It will come here and it will check for whatever is required for that one. We have lots of things, so it will just try to get from here. If you see here, we have multiple files here. Okay, and then we have something called lifecycle. Okay, lifecycle is nothing but paces. Mhm. So if you see here, uh, we have different lifecycle. Okay, so first one is validate. Um, we will have validate, compile, test. So first it is like validate and then compile, then test. Okay, then package, verify, install, deploy. Package. So what it does, so validate the so validate is nothing but it will validate like all the project information is correct or not. So in case if there is some issue, then actually it will show like it will fail the validation step. When we do mvn validate, it will just show some issue is there. And then this compile is nothing but it will compile the source code. For example, if we have a code, the first step is we have to compile. It will look for any issues. Once the compiling is done, then only we will be able to execute the commands. When we will be able to execute the Java commands or whatever it is. And then test is nothing but to run the unit tests. So in case if you have to test, in case if you have written some test cases and if you have to run that one, we will use this test. And then package is nothing but it will compile the code. So we have the code and then we have to compile it into some package like a jar, var, or a zip, whatever it is. So to compare to convert that code into package, we are using this package command. And verify. So verify is that it will just integrate with the projects and check for errors. Like after the package is built, it will check like is there any issue with the build package. Okay, if it is there, it will identify. And then to install is nothing but it will try to install the build software. For example, we have this jar file, and then it will try to install this jar file where in the local repository. What is local repository? .m2, which you have seen here, right? This m2 is the local repository. It will try to install here. And then we have something called deploy. For example, we have built the package. Once the package is built, it has to be saved in some repository. So that repository is nothing but some JFrog repository or Nexus repository. So in case if we have to push the code there, then we have to deploy. And then we will have different commands. So Maven, we are calling it in the simple words called mvn. Okay, mvn. Okay, so when we do mvn clean, it will clean the target directory, like whichever directory it is going to save, it will clean that one and delete all files before it starts working again. So and then compile, it is for compiling the source code. mvn test is for running the test. mvn package for building the projects and packages. Install is for installing on local directory. Deploy is for deploying on remote repositories. Remote repositories means like JFrog or Nexus, whatever you are using. Okay, and then how this thing works. Okay, so life cycle. So what does life cycle means? Life cycle means, for example, we will be like initially toddler, then we will move to kid, and then we will be like youth, men, grandparents. So in a human life cycle, we will be like initially like a small kid, then small toddler, and then we will be kid, and then we will be like engage, and then we will become men, and then we will become grandparents. Okay. So this is the life cycle of human. Okay. So initially you will be toddler. Once you become kid, will you be able to go back to toddler? Not possible, right? So once you become youth, will you be able to go back to kid? It is not possible. So it will be in this way. Similarly, here it will be in this way. Okay. So if you install, like if you do some command like mvn package, okay, when we do mvn package, it has to initially verify, compile, test package, then only package will come. So if you will be just running mvn package, but this command will run, this command will run, this command will run, then this command will run. Okay. So if you see here, we have all these 7 stages. Okay. So we have 7 stages. So all these 7 stages, if you're directly calling package, all the remaining test like remaining things, remaining stages will be executed automatically. So if you like directly use mvn verify, then this validate, compile, test, package, install, and verify. So all these 6 stages will be executed. This is how Maven works. Okay, and then we have something called plugins. Okay, so for example, we have like some capabilities that needs to be enhanced apart from Maven. For example, Maven is capable of doing something, but we want some more use case. Then actually we can use plugins. Okay, so Maven has like many plugins. For example, we have Maven compiler plugin, Surfire plugin for testing, and then Maven jar plugin. It configures the jar configurations. So now let's check like where the configurations are. So Maven, it will be defined under build, and then we have plugins. Plugins, if you see here, it is plural, okay, and plugin. So this plugin starts here, and then it will end here. If you see here, it starts it is like html file. Okay, so next when you want to define another plugin, you can start it from here. Okay, now let's see like where we can see the plugins. So when we go to Maven homepage, you can come here, and if you see, okay, here you see plugins. Okay, and then we have different plugins. For example, if you want to install and you want to see some plugins for this one, so if you see here, plugin has three goals: install, 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 install file, install help. Okay, and then usage. If you see usage, it will be there for all the commands. Just click on usage page. If you see here, you can install the command which we use is maven install. Okay, but in case if you are using it in some third party application or something, then you have to define these things. So not, it is not required to define everything, just whichever configuration is required you can define, or else in local maven you can just use this one. Okay, so similarly we have for all these tools. Let's go take for jar usage page. Click on usage page. So you will get Maven package, so that it will create the file for that one. Just you can go through this page. So you will have many plugins. Just you can see. And if you want to install, just come here, usage page. If you see here, Maven install, and then we have these things. These things can be used in any of the Jenkins pipeline or somewhere. Okay. So okay. So we define plugins like this. So here also we have group ID. Group means our office. Okay. So here we are using Maven's plugin. So we have defined that one. And then artifact ID. Artifact ID is Maven compiler plugin, that is the name, and which version of this plugin, 3.8.1, and then source and target versions they have configured. And then we have something called profiles. So profiles are nothing but we are defining the profile and we are providing it as dev. For example, we are using it in dev environment, we can use it as dev. Okay. And then if you want to use it in production, we can define it as prod. That's it. So in case if you have to use the profile of dev, simple, we can use Maven clean install and then pdev, so that we will be activating the dev profile and we will be doing the tasks there. If you have to move to prod, just change this hyphen p dev to prod. Okay, that's it. And then using Maven in CI/CD pipeline. So we can use the same in one of the stages. Okay, in one of the stages we can just define Maven clean install so that all the steps before install. So we have seen, right. So when we do install, we will do package, test, compile, and validate. Everything will be done. So we can use this command in like in Jenkins pipeline. And then in case if we are using in Docker file, we can use from Maven, okay, and working directory copy, and then actually it should be package. We can run Maven clean package command. So what is the best practices? So normally we have to use pom.xml. So whatever modifications we make, if we make in pom.xml, we can easily manage that one. And then we should use consistent plugin version. For example, we are testing in the dev environment using some other version, and in prod if we are deploying some other version, then actually there will be some consistency issue, because in dev it may work, in prod it may not work. So we have to use consistent plugin version. Plugin version means this is the version. Okay, this should be common between all the environments. What do I mean by all the environments? Dev environment, prod, everything, it will have different pom files, right? So pom files should have the same version. And then use profiles for environment configurations. And then these profile configurations, so depending on the environment we have to configure all the properties. Okay. This is the overview of Maven. Let's do the practice now. So we have opened Ubuntu. Now let's go to terminal. Okay. So let's check whether Maven is installed or not. So to test, we can do mvn. So it is showing us Maven not found. So Maven is not installed. Okay. So let's try to install Maven. So first thing is like we should have OpenJDK, means we should have Java installed. Let's check whether Java is installed in my machine. Yeah, so I already have the Java installed. In case if you are not having in your machine, you can just use this command, okay, wget to download this package, and then tar it, and then you can move it to OPT file, okay, so that Java will be installed. And then you have to set the Java home path so that it will be accessed by all the applications in all the locations, okay. Once this is done, you can do source dot profile command to apply these changes. Okay. So using this command, you can verify like whether Java is installed. And then we are using something called, so to install Maven, okay, to install Maven, first we have to go to this URL, okay. Just open in new tab. Okay, you're going to the Apache Maven project. It is the same page which you have seen plugins as well. Here, just they have clicked downloads. Okay, so here we have, and then we are, it is in different formats like tar.gz, zip, anything. Okay, to here this is the latest version. So Apache Maven 3.9.9 bin tar. Okay, so you can use this one. So you can use this command to download that one. Once that is done, you can tar this one. Okay, let me try this one. Okay, so nothing is there, so I am just getting that one. So it started downloading. Okay, so it has already downloaded and it is available in tar file, tar.gz file. So I have to extract it. To extract, we will be using this command. Okay, now it is extracted. If you see here, we have got a file called Apache Maven 3.9.9. Okay, so once this is done, you can just move this Apache Maven to OPT folder. So if you see, so if you see here, so actually currently we are in home Kafka Maven. So when I execute this one, it will move this Apache Maven folder to OPT folder. Okay, I will just do that one. Okay, it is getting permission denied. If we see some permission denied issue, then we have to use sudo. Okay, now if we go to OPT, we have Apache Maven 3.9.9. It has moved here. Okay, and then setting up M2 home. Okay, so we have downloaded the Maven. Okay, and then we have untarred it, and then we have moved it to OPT. Now we have to set the Maven home. Okay, to set the Maven home, we have to define this one. Maven home equal to just uh, we will be defining the variable path. Okay, so just paste this one. So you will be setting the path. Now, uh, if you want to see what is the path of this home, you can just copy echo dollar paste. So if you see, the path is correctly set. This is the path. Okay, and then we can define this one. We will be setting path, and then we will be exporting path. Okay, you can run both commands at the same time. Even you can run all those three commands at the same time. Just for explaining, I'm telling you separately. So it is done. Now echo dollar path. If you see here, it has set the OPT Apache Maven here. So similarly, we have different paths as well. That is fine. We have set this path. So why we set this path? So for example, what happens if we don't set this one? If we execute mvn command, it will work here. If I go to some other folder or directory, and if I try to execute Maven, it will not execute. In case if you have to execute that Maven in all the repositories, then we have to use we have to set this path. Okay, so we have set the path, and then we have to uh, relaunch the terminal or execute source.profile. Okay, so let's close this one, and let's open terminal. Okay, now I will try to install Maven. Okay, it has not applied properly. Okay, if you see here, Maven is working. So Maven is installed, Maven home, and then we have this version, Java version, everything. But actually, this path is not set properly, I guess. Okay, where is this one? One second. So, mm, to this to work all the time. For example, let me try closing this one and try again. Okay. So it should work in all the places. Okay, so actually it is not set properly. So what we do, let's go to home directory. Okay, home. So we should have something called profiles. Okay, okay, we have this one, profile. Okay, nano dot. So we have this file. We can come to the bottom. Okay, here I have to give in this path. Um, okay, I will just pass in as okay, I will just define this one. Okay, I have set this one. Let's see. Okay, so I will just save this one and then I will just do source dot profile. Okay, now let me try to execute Maven. Yeah, it is working. Let me close this one. Terminal. Oh, okay. Okay, actually it is not setting properly. It should have worked. For now, let's see with this itself. I will check why it is not working and I will let you know, guys. Okay. So let's just do source. Okay. Like every time it is expecting us to do this source, but it is not like that. It should work. Just I will try to see why it is not working. Okay. So now we have installed Maven. Okay. Now, for example, here I have one repository created already. Okay. Um, so you can use the same repository. Okay. You go to code And then we have seen already, right, git commands. So let's go to, for example, here. Okay, we have this one. Just let's try to clone this one. Git clone and then enter. Okay, so it is cloning the Maven repo. Okay, it is having what we have to install. Yeah. Okay. Oh, why? Hey, if we have to install, then how it will? If you see here, it is already installed. No, 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 it is not like that. So if I come out, okay, so I am here, right? See, it's working. Just it doesn't have the project. It is working. Yeah. So I have already installed. For installing, you no need of doing anything. Just you go there and unpackage that one, and you have to provide the path. That's it. It is already working. No need of installing and all. It is a package, right? Uh, so it will directly work. Yeah. Okay, it is asking for some certificate. So we have to pass in. Is this one? Actually, this is some issue on my laptop. This thing you like no need of following. Like it is asking for a certificate. Yes, it's very difficult to false. Okay, so the project is downloaded, and we have this Maven demo. Okay, let's go into that Maven demo. When we see here, we have this pom.xml. Okay, we have this pom.xml, and we have the code like src cd, and it is main. Inside main, we have Java and resources. So inside Java we have com. So inside this we have that username. We are using public code, okay, and you have written some Java application. And the thing is, most of the things it will be handled by developers. We have to just know what and all is defined in pom.xml. Okay, so if we see here, um, nano pom.xml, or else I will just do code. So I am just opening the Visual Studio Code. So if you see here, we have the Java application, and then we have resources inside resources, and we have something called pom.xml. So in the pom.xml, as I mentioned earlier, so we are defining the project first. Okay, the project is defined. Okay, and then we have something called group ID. So here we can change our ID as well. So let's do it as DevOps. Okay, and then this artifact is they have given us string boot demo. Okay, and then um, they have these group IDs for parent, and then we have seen this one, right? Dependencies. So initially dependency will be there, and then this dependencies have multiple dependency. Okay, and then they have used a build as well. So they have defined inside the build, they have defined the plugins. So we have different plugins installed. Okay, so they have mentioned the dependencies and then plugins, and then they have defined all these configurations. So if you see here, model they have used is 4.0.0, and then version is 1.0, and the application name will be spring boot demo. Okay, when we create the jar file, it will be like spring boot demo dot jar we will get. Okay, so this is the actual file. Now um, let's do maven clean. Okay, so it is scanning for project, and it is executing. So which command we have used now? We have just used maven clean. Okay, so build success. So it has cleaned everything. Now let's do mvn validate. Okay, so it will try to validate the file. So the build is success. It will scan for the projects, and the build is success. Okay, now if you see here inside Maven, we have just source file, pom.xml, and steps. That's it. And this Git, you know, right? This is like for Git repositories. Okay, and it is done. So next we have what step? We have compile, and then we have test. Let's do MVN test. Okay. So when we are to test something, if we have some test cases, we can write test cases, and we can just do MVN test. Okay. So it will look for the entire project, and in case if there are some test cases written, then it will do the tests. And if there are some issues, then it will display the issues. Okay. So okay, it is not able to create some directory. Actually, I'm having some permission issues. Even for creating the folder, I was using sudo, right? Because of that, but that is not the case. Just we have to know how to execute and what will be expected. Okay, in the real machines where you execute these things, it will run. So and then we can do mvn package. So what mvn package will do? So if you see here, so when we do package, it will validate, compile, test, and package. So it will create a package like a jar file also it will try to create. Okay, it is having issue. It is having the directory issue. First, try to switch to sudo account, sudo su. Okay, now I am like Maven user. Main command not found. Okay, okay, it is not here. Let me try to add that one. Just copy this one. I will paste it here, and then I will save it. Okay, and then I will do source profile, and I will try Maven. So it is working. Okay, now let's go to cd opt cd maven demo. You should, and one more thing guys, you should be inside the project. For example, this maven demo I downloaded from github repo, right? So similarly, developers will be giving you some path, and once you download, you have to go inside that one to execute all the things. Okay, now mvn test. So it is scanning for the project before we had issue with the test, right? Now let's see whether we get the same issue. Now we have logged in as a root user. So it is, if you see here, actually there were no test cases, but the build is success. So why we got issue earlier? Because we were using some other user. That user doesn't have the permission, required permissions. For example, it has to create some files in our repo, but it doesn't have any of the permissions. Now, before we add only source, pom and steps, right? Now we got one folder called target. Let's go to that one. So we have this classes generated and Maven status. So we have the plugins. See, Maven compiler plugin, those things it automatically got. So it is compiling. So default compiler. So all these things we got before because we executed those commands. Okay. Now we have done a test. Now we can go to the next stage. Next stage is, let's do Maven package. Okay. When we do mvn package, so it started. Now it will build the package. So we have the code. So how is our code? So our code is like we have the source pom.xml steps, everything, right? Now in case if we have to deploy it as application, it should be in the format of .jar, .zip, .tar or something, like it should be in that format. So to convert it into that format, actually we can just right click on the folder and we can convert it to tar or zip file, right? By why, but why we are not doing that one? Because that application may have some dependencies, so manually we can't do that one. So we are using this maven software. So this maven software, it will automatically take care of all these dependencies which are required, and then it will install in that package, so that it will be easy for us to manage. Okay, so this is done. So build success. Now if we see the build, so actually the build, it will be in target folder. Okay, so if we see here, we have got spring boot web.jar. Okay, this is the package. Okay, this is the package which will be stored in nexus or jfrog artifact repository, and this is the software which we will be deploying in our dev and prod environments. Okay, so how we got this spring boot web.jar? So if we go to pom.xml, okay, here we have defined the name Spring Boot demo, and then it has got the version as well. Okay, so I will close this one. For example, now I'm giving the package name as DevOps demo. Okay, and we can change the version as well, 2.2. Okay, 2xy save, and if we go to the target, so currently we have just this Spring Boot jar, right? Now what we should get? Now we will get DevOps demo.jar. Let's try that one. And then if you see here, we have this command. Again, we will execute. It will fail. Why it will fail? You are in target folder. Okay, you may face this issue. So actually, you have to come where actually the pom.xml file is there. Okay, when pom.xml file is there, there only you have to execute. Now again, I will run Maven package. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay, artifact ID. We have to change everything. Okay, guys, but this is none of our headache actually. So we should know like what exactly this is doing. Okay, and we have to know like what exactly this is doing, and then just we have to know like what are the changes they will be doing and those things. Okay, if you see here, it has created new file DevOps demo jar. Okay, so just by changing there, we will be getting those files. In case if you are changing the name, change it in all the places so that the new file which you get, it will be created. Okay, so now if we see this one, um, okay, it is not opening sudo user. So what we have to mainly know, we have to know initially this project should it would we are working in a project, right? Just remember you are working in a project in a company. Okay, first thing is we have to mention the project. Okay, and then group id is nothing but your company name, and then artifact id is nothing but like it is the special name, like the name of the application. And then version we have to mention different. For example, now you execute 1.0, next time when you execute it should be 1.1, then only it will application will know like what is the difference between version 1.0 and 1.1, right? So we have to mention that one. And then we have to mention the dependencies. Okay, here we have mentioned these dependencies, and I have showed you how to see dependencies. You can go to Maven page, and then based on the project, for example sonar cube or else nexus or else docker, whatever it is, so based on that you can get the dependencies, and just you can add. If you have some other additional dependency as well, you can just come here and add additionally. And then we have something called plugins. So these plugins are like for extending the features of Maven. For example, we have like install, package, and then validate. So all these things are plugins only. Okay. that's it, guys. So we are done with Maven.